So this is one of your better swings, and again, it's a reasonable progression in terms of where you were last time, obviously where that club's going. We had the club before sort of somewhere here. Yeah. It's gradually just sort of moving in now, so eventually we're going to get it sort of somewhere in, let's say, just inside your backside there in terms of that line there. The club is still whipped a little bit inside, but compared to where it was, it's massively improved. Now, because that club's still whipped inside, there's still a bit of lifting with the arms. So at this point here now, we'll go back a frame probably. The arms now here for me, a little on the steeper side, quite tucked up and quite tight. As a result of that, now when you come back to the goal, there's going to be that sort of feeling of moving the arms out this way, that early extension, as you said. And then just relying on so much hand action timing, okay? As I say, in terms of where the shot ended up, it was a better position compared to before. That shaft there is still a little bit on the steeper side. As we come back down, the club now not really matching up with that right forearm, hand steep, but because it was a better position, it's still a reasonable shot. And again, you're good enough with that hand-eye coordination to adjust the club face accordingly. So we compare those positions more to the ones at the top compared to this one here. This was obviously the one where you did the stop-start, which again, is difficult because you lose kind of rhythm and you're a bit disjointed, okay? But that's the takeaway we're kind of looking to try and get to eventually. Then from there, once you've got that thing now, the hand just sort of keep going round as you keep rotating on that spine there now, up the top. This one there we showed you got a lot more depth with your arms there now. You look at those two positions, as we said, how much more kind of space there is between your hands and your head. Much better movement now. The club's further back behind you, but the club now is in front of you in terms of where you are relative to sort of the hand and the club. And then as you come back down again now, you can see the club now coming through your right shoulder, right just top of your right bicep, as opposed to this one coming through more your neck area. So the shaft angle is shallowing in nicely, which is going to be a much more improved driver swing, yeah, with a 7, an 8, and 9 and a wedge. If you're a bit steep, so be it. You have a big divot. You're a bit steep with the driver, that's the big problem you're going to cause, and that's where your driver gets more destructive, okay? So as you start coming back in the golf ball, because you're swinging on a flatter angle now, and you're not used to that as you come in the golf ball, it just goes way right. Because you're used to the club kind of being out in front here, sort of pulling across slightly, rather than working on the sort of ideal plane that we're looking to try and achieve, okay? So it's definitely working in the right direction. I think with the sticks on the ground, they just say giving you that visual. That one there is kind of a good one for sort of where the club wants to be in terms of where your hand position is. The feel of the club shaft's pointing kind of out towards that white one here, yeah? So almost like 45-degree angle. I think your thumb direction with your right thumb is going to be a key element for you, just sort of thinking where that right thumb goes. As you said, it gives you the impression sometimes it's almost a little bit of kind of early hinge, isn't it? Yeah. Because if you don't hinge your wrist, they either do that or they do that, really. So as you go back, almost feeling a little bit more earlier hinge in the takeaway, as long as you keep turning the torso, that club now is going to get here, which seems quite steep. If you just keep turning and turning and turning, now the club's working behind you nice. When you then come back down again, we're getting the club into that much more improved for you position that we're trying to achieve. And like I say, it's a massive improvement from where you were. It still needs to go in that direction a bit more with the shaft. And again, we're finding a window. And ultimately, again, there's obviously a window. If we sort of draw some lines on here, there's a window of where that club can go in the takeaway, basically between those two yellow lines there. Yeah. If you're between those sort of two yellow lines there, you find it's when you start getting in this area, that's where the problems start arising. You then got to try and make quite dramatic adjustments, which again, like I say, you're really good at doing 7 times out of 10. It's the 2 or 3 times out of 10 you don't do it. And with the longer club, you say it's a lost golf ball. So your good drives are 300 and straight, and then your bad drives are reloads. And that's where the scores are going to be more effective. Okay, mate? So yeah, working on that club going back with the sticks, they get that sensation, the club working back. I say your right thumb, more of a thing, and I suppose in some ways more of a bit of a wrist hinge, so it feels more of a sort of a slightly earlier hinge with the right wrist as the club goes back. So your arms and body can still keep turning, but you're controlling where the wrists go, where that exactly, there you go, good. That's it. Okay, mate?